Hello, beautiful mom leaders. How is everybody doing? Welcome to Conscious Champagne Chat number 24. Today, outside of, I'm sitting here in the hospital park. I'm still in hospital and probably have to stay for another 2 or 3 days. They're not quite sure how long it will take to get rid of that thing and what it is and what to do about it. And it's a very mysterious bump, so to speak. So let me know when you're hopping on. Let me know when you watch this on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel and leave us a like. So today in Conscious Champagne Chat number 24, I want to talk about a topic that is so dear to my heart, you guys, so dear to my heart. And it's everything about mom guilt. Every mom, every single mom out there has experienced mom guilt of some sort. Whether that is on a daily basis or whether it is on a less frequent basis, it doesn't matter. It's to some extent, to some frequency, to some intensity, all of us have experienced mom guilt. And what we need to understand is that mom guilt is living inside of us. And what lives inside of us creates our experiences and creates our reality. And the reason I feel so strong about mom guilt is that every time I have a conversation with a woman, it's like we take it for granted that we feel guilty. It's almost like we should feel guilty. And if you don't feel guilty, there's something wrong with you. And I really need you to understand that feeling mom guilt is not normal at all. And it should not be normal at all. And furthermore, it's actually very toxic and very devastating. And most people don't notice. They think it's part of what it is to be a mom, and they just drag it around with them. They carry it around with them on a day-to-day basis, not realizing how that guilt that is living inside them actually makes parenting very hard for them. And so the guilt that lives inside of you creates your experiences. And in particular, it really creates and induces all that self-hate, all that self-criticism, all that self-judgment inside of us. It's constantly hitting on the I am not enough button all the time. And when you are living in the constant cycle of I am not good enough, which is like, again, it's a cycle, it's a thought feeling cycle that's being induced in you. And if you're constantly living in that cycle of I am not good enough, guess what you're going to do? You're going to try harder, you're going to work harder, you're going to go and beat yourself up and just tell yourself, I have to be better, I have to be better, I have to be better. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be better. The problem comes when our motivation to be better is born out of a place of lack or a place of not good enoughness or a place of failure. If you want to become better, coming from a place where becoming better is the tip of, is the icing on the cake, you feel everything is already amazing and it can't get even better, that's a completely different story. But when we are ridden by guilt, which is inducing this not enoughness cycle inside of us, what it leads to is it literally creates a whole bunch of soulless, underfulfilled overachievers. And I'm saying this because I was one of them for many years. Going higher, reaching higher, and my cup was never filled. Because you can't fill that not enoughness cup that is being induced by guilt through something that comes from the external world. And I want you to realize we're doing this to our kids all the time. It's like, if you think about it, it's been induced in us through the old ways of teaching, like if something was wrong at school, if you did wrong, it's like red. And it's still, I know it's not quite as much as in the US. There's way better ways they have in the US than in Germany. But in Germany, I can tell you, if the kids do something wrong, it's like being marked like bold red. You did it wrong. And so what we do is we induce a whole bunch of guilt. You are not good enough. You need to do better. You are not a good enough human. And so, again, that induces the guilt, shame, punishment cycle leading to humans that are just being hard to themselves, beating themselves up all the time. And so that's why I completely and fully agree with Louis Hay, who said, guilt is the most useless emotion. It's the most useless emotion. It lives inside of us. It has an extreme low energy. And most people actually feel it in their tummy because it's located, guilt is the energy that blocks your second chakra. And your second chakra is all about the life force. It's all about your sexual power, your drive, to find joy in this life and to really feel excited and get turned on by life. It's not necessarily like the sexual drive, but our sexual power is very closely linked to the excitement we feel about living. And when we don't have that, and think about of how many women, especially after they become moms, like how many of you feel there's pleasure, to go and really give yourself to your husband and stuff. Like all that stuff, all that life force energy is really being blocked by all the guilt that we harboring inside of us. It's toxic, my friends. It's literally toxic. It's going to keep you playing small. It's going to keep you bound. And when you release that bound energy of guilt, that's when you actually open up a door to becoming a just powerful, confident woman that gets what she wants and that stands up for herself. And so what we want to do is, when you feel guilty, and let me give you an example of where I had extreme guilt, and we just talked about this actually in the mastermind last night. When our kids have a certain behavior that is not considered good behavior, who do you think is going to put the blame on her? It's the mom, right? It's always the mom. It's us that feel, oh my God, I screwed up my child. It's my fault. It's all my fault. And it's so heavy. We feel extremely guilty if our kids have kind of, if they have anxiety, if they harbor a lot of sadness or whatever. And so we put all that heavy guilt on us, you guys. And what happens when we do that is we start to overcompensate. So I used to have a lot of guilt around, I'm not spending enough time with my kids. And then, because I've pretty much my entire life, I've been a full-time working mom for except maybe 2 or 3 years in between. But most of the time I've been a full-time working mom. And so I didn't always have the time that I wanted to have. And I felt extremely guilty. And then when my kids kind of misbehaved in kindergarten or in school, I always put the blame on me. And I always said, this is my fault because I don't spend enough time with them. And so what happens when we're ridden by guilt is then we start to overcompensate. So I would then go and try to make up for it and say, hey, guys, let's go and have a picnic on a Wednesday afternoon. Mommy's taking some time off and let's go and make a beautiful day out of it. Guess what happened on a Wednesday afternoon? My kids were not in a mood to go to the park. They wanted to play at home. And so it started this whole emotional, emotional arguments. And I got frustrated because I thought, I had a brilliant idea. I wanted to spend time with them and they just weren't in the mood of spending time with me. And it leads to, so really check in with yourself. Whenever you feel guilty, I want you to ask yourself, what do you blame yourself for? Journal on that, write on that. Where do you feel you failed your kids? And then check in if you can actually feel that guilt in your body. And what we want to do then is you want to meet yourself with compassion, because compassion is actually your compass. If you realize compass is part of the word compassion. So compassion will always show you the right way. And the area of compassion is up here, right? It's in our heart. It's where our breast sits. So you simply, whenever you feel that guilt, ask yourself first, what do you blame yourself for? What is exactly that you're blaming yourself for? And what is that underlying limiting belief that you have? So I blame myself for, I don't have enough time for my kids. I should be spending more time. And we've talked about the word should in a previous Conscious Champagne chat, right? Which again constantly signals your brain, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And so I had to check myself, so I believed I don't have enough time for my kids. And the reason that induced guilt, it was because the limiting belief I had around time was I can only be a good mom if I spend a lot of time with my kids. And that blocked me, you guys. It blocked me from a lot of things. And it induced this overcompensating, I have to do more, I have to do more, I have to do more, I have to get better cycle, which is exhausting. It's exhausting. And so I had to clear that out. I removed all that using our tapping, which again, we're teaching in the mastermind. If you want to come and learn that, join our mastermind. We're really getting in there. And this is where we're eliminating all these underlying feelings that block us from showing up as that best version of ourselves, the best version of the mom that we actually that we want to be. But the check you can do, check if it's in your tummy, and then just start breathing from your belly button, down here, and pull that breath all the way up in your chest and just hold it in your chest and feel, put your hand on your heart and just feel that compassion, right? Feel that compassion you have for you, and just tell yourself, no matter the choice, no matter my choice, I trust it to be the right one. I trust it to be the right one. I am good enough. It will solve so many things for you. All right? So, my friends, take good care. I have 2 more days in hospital. I will be seeing you back for Conscious Champagne Chat number 25 on Tuesday next week. And I think I will start talking about why actually emotional intelligence is not enough to be an amazing mom leader. So tune in on Tuesday. Take care. I wish you a lovely weekend. Bye.